Energy has lots of functions, but it comes in a lot of different forms. And for that energy to work, you need to have potential energy. That's the energy that is stored up. And then you have kinetic energy. And that's the energy that's actually at work. So you have energy like electrical energy, where you flip on a switch, light bulb comes on. So this is a very simple experiment. You can just tape up a bunch of batteries and put the wire on either end, but I've got a stronger battery. And what we're going to do, this is just plain old pencil lead that you put in a mechanical pencil, and when you send an electric current through it, you can make yourself kind of a old-fashioned light bulb. However, it does burn out rather quickly, and you run the risk of catching something on fire. Another form of energy is heat energy. This wood has potential energy that will be released during a chemical reaction. Once that chemical reaction starts, it provides us energy through the form of heat. Better. Well, sometimes we can catch this energy and use it for our own electricity. Now in Kansas, the type of electricity that we typically use is coming from fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are things like oil, coal, petroleum, gasoline. We burn the coal in these gigantic power plants. That produces steam by boiling water. That steam rises and it moves these gigantic turbines. And as they spin around, they produce the electricity that we use. Over the past several years, a lot of electrical companies are starting to move to different types of energy, and some people are doing it at their own homes. You can do solar energy. You can have these gigantic solar panels. They can span across huge areas of roof. You can put them on the ground, on platforms. They stay out there all day, converting all of that sunlight into energy that we can use then in our homes. You might have noticed, if you travel around too much, that there's even more wind farms going up. These gigantic windmills. And as the wind blows, they begin to spin. As those propellers spin around, they're actually spinning something inside of them, a generator. And that generator is what's producing the electricity that then can travel to our homes that we can then use. There are other forms of energy. You can get energy from moving water. If you live near a major river, you could create a dam. This dam stops the water from moving, and then you can control that movement. So the water comes rushing down, spinning these gigantic props that spins a turbine that also can produce our energy. There's lots of forms of energy going on out there, and a lot of those have some really good benefits, but there are some good with the bad. For example, to produce enough energy through solar panels, they need to span a large area. We're just not that good at converting the sun's energy into energy that we can then use. Wind energy, you got to put up these gigantic windmills to be able to catch enough wind to spin a generator fast enough to produce electricity. And people have complained that they don't look that great. They kind of ruin the horizon as you're driving along. There's also been some reports of birds potentially being hit by them. And when it comes to water, those dams affect the ecosystems for things that live in them, like the fish and the turtles. Those stop the flow of water that fish sometimes rely on. What we have to do is we have to decide, does the good outweigh the bad? Not only that, is how long is this resource going to last? Eventually, we're going to run out of coal. Now, we have enough coal to continue for quite some time, but eventually it will be gone. So what do? There are things that are never going to run out, at least not in our lifetime. The sun has a few billion years left, so producing better solar panels to be able to capture that sunlight, that solar energy, and turn it into the electricity we now can use is a really important thing to try to continue to develop. Wind is not going anywhere. As long as the sun exists, we will have wind. So we can always rely on the fact that somewhere there's going to be wind. But there are days where the wind dies down and it's not very strong, and maybe those windmills don't spin. Then we're not producing the electricity that we need. Water is an extremely important resource. Not only do we clean with it, but we need it just to survive. Now let's say that there is a drought. that river may not have enough water in it to be able to produce enough electricity. So although we know water's always going to be around, we do have some climactic periods that could change just how much electricity we could actually produce. The best idea right now is to try to combine all of them. Let's use solar panels and capture what energy we can. It's not going to be enough, so let's combine that with the powers of wind and water that we know are going to be there, but maybe aren't quite as reliable. With all three, we should have an abundance of energy for everybody to use. And the best part, it's never going to run out. And it seems like, at least for now, the negative effects are relatively small.